I have a problem. G'day guys, welcome back to MG Rebuild. As I said in the intro, I discovered I might have a bit of an issue with this car. It's not actually the car itself, it's more me, my build. As you can see, I've reupholstered the back seat now and I've got that fitted in the car. If you just come around here, because I'm 6'2" and about 240 pound or whatever, it is very, very tight in the cockpit. The steering wheel is up against my legs, my knees up against the dash, and there's the seat's as far back as it can go. There's not a great deal of room in this car. I knew that was going to be potentially an issue to start off with, but it's come to realization now that it is actually becoming quite a problem. There are a few things I'm going to do to try and rectify that. I've got a smaller steering wheel. I think I can lift the steering wheel up a little bit, and there's also the telescopic part of the steering wheel, which I've got to free up. It's all seized at the moment, I won't go in or out. But look, I'll try my hardest to make sure that I can fit in the car, and I really want to keep this car. If I can't, then I'm just going to have to sell it and buy something that's a little bit bigger. I used to have a 1970 MGB before, and that was very, very roomy inside. Yes, I was a lot thinner back then, but it was still a lot of room. An MGA is another car that I would love to have, an MGA Mark 1 1600. I would love to have one of those. So if I can't keep this, then that'll be the car that I'll be looking for, I reckon. So anyway, let's just see how we go. Now there's also, excuse me with the light, a few other things that need to be adjusted as well. As you can see, the Speedo cable is quite short. It's not going to meet up to the actual Speedo, so that's just something else that I'm going to have to try and work on, reroute it or something like that to find it, get a few extra inches out of it. Otherwise, it's just not going to connect up to the Speedo. Something else, the oil pressure gauge has the same issue. That's just running too, as you can see, too close. It's not going to, most likely won't fit in the actual gauge, sorry, in the dash quite well enough. A little bit tight, a little bit short on the actual line, which is amazing because it's the original one. So it would have been fitting at some stage. Now, it's possible I may have the other end of the copper line coming in from the wrong part of the engine. I'll have a look at that. I've said it 1,000 times, I need a bigger garage. I've got it. Look, the braided line comes from the bottom of the block, well, at the block, then goes to here, and that's where it swaps over. I've got a brass nut there for some reason. I have to try and work that out. I think it's off my, yeah, it's off my coil. It mounts it there, so that really can't change. So there's something there that's not quite right, that's making it a little bit too short and making it a little bit too tight to fit in there. Yeah. Another thing that I have done is I had a friend turn up a spacer block for me out of with a 3D printer for the battery. The battery I've got, I haven't mounted it all yet. Still got to paint this. The battery I got's a lot smaller, just to try and take the weight off the actual engine firewall. The problem is with the heavier batteries, they crack down through here and here a lot. I've had those welded up, and I don't want for that to crack again. So I've got a nice lightweight battery, and of course, being smaller, I've had to put a spacer block in behind that just to pad it out. Another update, as you can see, I've now got my my new wheels on. Now they've been powder coated and got the hubcaps on, and I've also got the rubber for the running boards in now. As you can see, I've got a few parts that have arrived. Actually, I've basically got nearly all the parts that I need to finish this car off, almost. There's a few things that I'm still waiting on, but neither here nor there, they won't be too far away. There's also an update. Remember that parcel that I've been waiting from the US since the start of December? Well, it's arrived, but not here. It arrived back at the sender's house. So 7.5 months, it did a round trip and started back where it came from. So yeah, so those parts are going to be sent out to me again. So there's possibly be about a 9-month wait from the start before I actually see those parts. But anyway, that's better than losing them and having to do an insurance claim and getting back bugger all, half a bugger all, really. So anyway, that's just it. So as you can see there, now that I'm out of the car, the back seat's in. It's not 100% straight. It's over to one side a little bit more than I'd hoped. It's over to the left side. That's me. I just cocked up basically. Now it's okay. Look, I'm fine with that. It gives me that little bit more room in the cab. Bit of a mess in the back here at the moment, but you can see I've got the clips in there for the starting handle as well, and of course the seat back adjusters are in there and doing their job. As you can see, bit of reflection in there. I've started work on the dash console, so I've cleaned up the amp meter, put a new face on it. That was a real sod of a thing to get done, but anyway, it's there, it's done. I've had a reconditioned starter switch put in, so that's doing nicely. It's got the switches, got the ignition globe. I've realised I put that in the wrong spot. That's supposed to be there, so I'll swap that over later. And the low fuel warning lights, I put a new one in there. Realised I had them around the wrong way, tried to take it out, and it just fell apart in my hands. So I'm a bit annoyed about that, but that's just life. So I've still got to get the oil gauge to fit in there. Now, I do have a question. As you know, the early TDs only had an oil pressure gauge. It did not have a temperature gauge. The later ones had a dual gauge. Now, I've been offered a dual gauge, which I'm very, very tempted to buy. However, what I have also done several months ago, I bought a reconditioned temperature gauge. As you can see, it is in immaculate condition, looking very, very nice. And that's all ready to go. So I was going to put that beside the driver's door to fit in. Now I'm just trying to work out whether to use the I think it was an optional extra, could be wrong, to use this, or to use a dual gauge, which will still need to restore a little bit. It's looking pretty good, but still needs a little bit of work. So send me your thoughts, your pros and cons on each style. Got a question. As you can see, these are the rivets for the windscreen label or little badge sort of thing. Now these are very, very tiny. Now I'm just wondering, how do you set these rivets into the windscreen? How do you well, you can't pop them like a normal rivet, of course, because they're a blind rivet. But how would you fix those into the windscreen so it doesn't cause any damage to anything? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that one, and it's just a bit of advice on how to do it. My chroming guy said just to cut the heads off and just glue them on and glue the whole badge on, but I think I might try and see if I can fit them in properly like they're supposed to be done, as per the factory specs anyway. So let me know what you think. As you can see, I've done a little bit more wiring on the back of the console there. I've got my plugs in place, so it'll end up being a plug and play when I'm ready to put it in. There's still heaps of wiring for me to sort out and do and so forth, but I'll slowly get there. I've got a horn and dimmer switch to go in there, so that will take up a few of these wires here. And of course I've got to put the lighting in as well, so that's going to take a little while yet to go. Of course, my fog lights, so you can see fog lights. Now this one here, I think from memory, is normally a dimmer switch, I think, for the dash lights. I could be wrong, but correct me if I am. But what I might use that one for instead, because I actually I've got a rebuilt heater coming very soon. A friend of mine, he sold me the heater, and then he decided, no, I'm going to, restore it for me as well. And he's done an absolutely brilliant job. It looks like it's brand new. You'd swear it's come off the shelf. It looks fantastic. So I might actually use that as a power source for the heater, like just an on-off switch, perhaps. I may not be able to do it, but just let me know what you think anyway. See if that can actually be done. But as you can see, still some more wiring to go, but slowly getting there. Okay, so that's all for this episode. In the next episode, there will be a giveaway, and it's for subscribers only, but the actual prize is worth winning. It's something that you can actually use in your own car. So make sure you are subscribed, and also click that notification button as well, so you do get alerted when the new video comes out. Now, please leave a comment for the questions that I've asked. There's a couple there that do need to be answered, and like you, or some of you anyway, I'm learning as I go, and I'll, if I don't ask these questions, I'm not going to learn. So, and obviously some of my viewers won't learn either. So I do appreciate people putting in those comments. So anyway, until next time, happy motoring, and I'll see you later.